My guest today is Jacques Park.
I used to be a firm supporter of low carbon green growth. Then I also tell you the three unique climate alarmism in South Korea. And the third one is the renewable energy problem in South Korea. And the fourth, climate change in Korean Peninsula. And finally, I'll tell my closing remark and my short proposal here. I used to very firm support of low carbon green growth. On August 15th, 2008, August 15 is a National Liberation Day, just like United States Independence Days. At that time, President Myung-Bak Lee declared low carbon green growth as a national vision. Following that, I served as a member of a presidential committee, low carbon green growth. This one is this picture was the presidential committee meeting. Here he is President Lee, and it's me. See, yeah. And I also attended Rio 20 in Brazil, 2012, June 2012. Where the Green Growth Institute was started. I attended there. I was a member of, the Korean delegate. At that time, I loved low carbon green growth, you see. Yeah. In my class, I taught fake science to my student. I taught an inconvenient truth. And I taught all his lie to my student. You see here. Also, I taught Michael Mann's hockey stick. Then, I said we need to take action to protect the polar bear. And Tuvalu is a disappearing nation. I taught every fake, the news and the fake science to my student. And I was very impressed by, the Al Gore's Nobel Peace Prize winning with IPCC. So I met this, Pachauri, IPCC chairman Pachauri at Mexico City, 2012. At that time in Mexico, there was, the opening ceremony of a Green Growth Institute in Mexico. The Korean government sent me to Mexico as a head of celebration groups, I attended. At that time, I respect him. I respect Pachauri very much. But later, he is not good. Yeah. Then, in 2017, President Trump changed everything to me. He said global warming is a total and very expensive hoax. It was very shock to me. And I also knew the climate change denier, Scott Pruitt, become an EPA administrator. And I knew Trump on Dick's call. Then, I tried to find everything about this using the website and the Google search, I found here, Oregon Climate Declaration, Global Warming Petition Project. More than 31,000 American scientists said, global warming is a complete hoax. Then these two, the Climate Gate 1 and the Climate Gate 2 was a shock to me. And here, the Professor Dick Lynchen, he convinced me, he said believing CO2 control climate is pretty close to believing in magic. He visited our department 2010 to give a special lecture. I didn't attend, I couldn't attend, his lecture, but I joined the faculty lunch meeting with him. But at that time, I didn't know what he think about the climate change. But later, I knew that. I only know about he is the top climate scientist in the world. But now, after President Trump after President Trump tells everything, then I knew he said he's a climate change denier. You see, yeah. Since then, I translate and written 6 books. First book is Inconvenient Facts. This one is a translated one. This book was very shocking, the most shocking book in my whole life. From this book, I knew increasing, the CO2 is good for us and good for Earth. And the second book is, Dr. Patrick Moore's, Fake Invisible Catastrophe and the Threat of Dooms. This one is a translated one. He visited our university 2012. This photo was taken in our university, the grand lecture halls. This Korean say the world-class scholar telling the Earth's eco story. But at that time, I was on leave away from university to serve, director of a Korean Research Institute of National Institute of Environmental Research. I serve as a director of a National Institute of Environmental Research, so that I couldn't meet him. But I wrote, the email to him. I want to translate your book, so I translate this book here. And the third one, I translate this, the United Kingdom, UK, the nonfiction right, David Craig's books, There is No Climate Crisis. This book used a lot of, the Tony Heller's, the newspaper collections. I translate this book, this one here, and then I wrote Fact Check Climate Crisis Myths by myself. And I also wrote, why President Trump left the climate agreement, withdraw the climate agreement. And last April, I published a partial translate the book here, the Australian, the professor Ian Flemmer's Green Murder. I translate that one. And I also joined, the Professor Steve Quinn's books, Unsettled. This book was translated by professional translator in Korea, but she couldn't understand the scientific fact. So I retranslate this book again. So I learned many things from these, intensive study. Then I knew the IPCC climate science is not a science. It's just like a shit box. Nothing, it's a garbage can, the junkyard. It's not a science. Then, science should be honest, and the science need, solid theory and data to support the theory. But this climate, the IPCC climate science, not a science. Then I think I think this area is a very important area. So I have dedicated myself. So I since then, I studied, the very intensively. Second, now, I tell you 3 unique climate alarmism in South Korea. You see that this graph is the result of a BBC, British broadcast company, BBC, UK, BBC survey result. This Korean means the percentage of people who believe that climate change was caused by human activity. The highest is South Korea, 86%, UK, 81%, Germany, 76%, United States, 66%, Japan is the 53%. So this one is, so Korea is the country with the highest percentage. You know why Korea is very, most people believe, the climate change was caused by human activity. This one is, first one is this one. Ban Ki-moon, former, Secretary General of the United States nation. He come back to Korea. He keeps saying, keep warning, the climate change is very important. We need action on climate change. Action on climate change is urgent. The more we delay, the more we'll pay in lives and money, Second one is this one. Former IPCC chairman, Hwee Seung-ri, he keeps saying same things. These two big figures continue to say, keep saying climate change. But these two guys are not a scientist, but people believe these two guys, two big figures saying. You see, the third one is, the Greenpeace. Greenpeace East Asia office located in Seoul. But this guy is Chinese. He is a director of, the Greenpeace East Asia office. Chui Peng-chung. He is Chinese. But I don't know why he likes Seoul, but he should go to Hong Kong. Hong Kong is a better place than Seoul, but they have office in Seoul. They keep saying, stop the nuclear now. And they keep saying, the climate change, the crisis, and net zero policy. This one is international headquarters. This building is the international headquarters of Hyundai Motor Company, very close to my house. They, the Greenpeace, they put, this banner with balloons. What they say is Hyundai chairman is climate bad guys. They doing same thing. They keep saying this one here, you see. But they are very successful in South Korea here. This one is TV screen. Is all media warning of climate catastrophe, except Epoch Times Korea here. This Korean means here, more than 3 degrees rise by 2050. Maybe 4 billion people death. It's scary warning. So another one is, this one is, the climate crisis clock was installed in National Assembly building last year, April 22nd, Earth Day. What they say is, here, the clock, this clock, here say 50 years and 3 months left before the climate catastrophe. But they seem very happy, they seem very happy. Now, now we have 4 years left here. We established the Net Zero Framework Act 2021. But, these children have filed a lawsuit against the Constitutional Court. We need a more strong one. They think Net Zero Framework Act is not good enough for their future life. But they win. The youth win the climate constitutional lawsuit last year, August, see? And another success is, in Korea, 36 global companies participate renewable energy 100% campaign. Samsung, Hyundai, SK, LG, all, the international companies joined the, renewable energy 100% campaign. And in Korea, it's very unusual, the national emission trading system was implemented 2015. It's very unusual in Asian countries. Even United States, you may not have the whole country, the whole nationwide emission trading system not implemented. But only in Europe they have that. But we opened the ETS market opening ceremony was held 2015. And the ETS price is higher than EU, South Korea ETS price higher than EU. Okay. And, the South Korea only, the 1.9% just, we just emit. Whole, the CO2 emission ratio is just 1.9%. China is 31.8%. As you know, the man-made, the CO2 emission is just 3.2. But compare the natural source, the ocean, plant, animal, soil, the South Korea is nothing, So no matter how hard, the South Korea try to reduce CO2 emission, it doesn't affect atmospheric CO2 concentration, nothing here. But we try to everything. We spend a lot of money for this one. See, the last year, China built 2 new coal plants each week. So they emit a lot of CO2. This guy should go to the China to save the earth, you see. Third one is a renewable energy problem in South Korea. I tell you some. In Korea, more than 70% of national land is mountain. So we built a lot of, many solar panels installed in mountain here. But the problem is, the landslide often occur during heavy rainy seasons. We got a big problems here. And some people, they put the solar panel in rice field and the lake. But you see, to get the national government subsidy, they put the solar panel in here. But the problem is the toxic material contained in solar panel, cadmium, arsenic, but it's, the very toxic materials here. And in Korea, we have a coastal lake, big coastal lake. In coastal lake, they put the solar panel, but the problem is bird droppings, a lot of bird dropping. It's very hard to clean it. It's a big problem. The real problem is this problem. This one is log communication device in Chinese, solar power inverter. So the inverter is from DC to AC. See, the secret killer button has been discovered in Chinese solar panels. In Korea, the 95% of inverter made in China. If China want, we can stop the whole electricity. This one is another big problem here. Let's see the wind turbines here. We have the huge offshore wind turbine project, 18 gigawatt here. This one is a southwest area. This image is a southwest area, the wind turbine plant here. But the problem is here, east area. East area is, East Sea is very deep. East coastal area is very deep. So what are we doing? We do the floating offshore wind power project. It's floating. But the problem is, the typhoon. During summertime, there are several typhoons coming. That's another big problem here. You see, the real big problem is fishery. Fishery, in Korea is one of the top 10 coastal aquaculture country, same as Japan. You see so fishermen against the wind power project, wind power here. This banner means, wind power kill all fish stocks. So that's a big problem here. And because of poor weather, the wind power efficiency very low, about 17%. Average is about 30%, but in Korea, it's just 17%. So this one is coastal, the wind turbine. 32 wind turbines just produce 3.3 one nuclear power plant. It's a very stupid idea. You see here, South Korea has excellent nuclear power generation technology, but people's, to save Earth, because, Greenpeace don't like, the nuclear power, and all, the environmental groups, they don't want to, the nuclear power. So they just built this, very low efficient wind turbine. Another one is problem is most wind turbine made in China. You see, that's another big problem here. So one time, Chinese ship arrested because of illegal entering the Koreans. They just illegal entering the Korean Sea for helping the construction. That's another big problem. Many, Chinese ship just illegally enter the Korean Sea. See? The result, I show you the result of renewable energy policy. More than 95% of, the Korea's energy consumption by source is here. Coal, oil, gas, and nuclear. Renewable energy is small, very small, but in electricity, just only in electricity, solar and wind is about 10%. But this, this small, this solar and wind electricity, we just reduce little bit, recently reduced a little bit, the CO2 emission. This graph is annual CO2 emission is here. Because of that, the average electricity price is very high. Last, 5 years, this one is blue color is household electricity price, and the red color is industry electricity price. But last 5 years, almost the electricity price is doubled. We paid the climate environmental charge for every electricity bills, but this graph show that, this figure show that the government keeps saying this one is here. It's the cost of converting to clean and safe energies. See, this, the climate environmental charge keep increasing, continue to increase. You see here, this Korean is just the Korea Electricity Power Corporation, RPS Renewable Energy Standard, and ETS emission tracing keep increasing. You see here, 2022 in US dollar is 33.1 billion US dollar we pay. This money goes to the, the solar and wind power. See? Huge economic loss, but very small CO2 reduction. That's that's our problems here. So the money from the electric consumer is given to the solar wind power companies. But finally, this money goes to Chinese solar panel and wind turbines here. Now I show you the climate change in Korean Peninsula here. In Korean Peninsula is, we have, here dry continental mass from the, the Siberia and the Russian area here. And then wet oceanic air mass meet Korean Peninsula here. Once, in the year when dry continental air dominate, we have a drought. And in year wet ocean, oceanic air mass dominate, we got a drought. And this area, our land has no natural lake at all. And most, the land is very steep mountain land. So very severe, the drought and the flood is very severe. That's why, the Korean invent rain gauge first in the world, 1441. We are very proud of, we invent first rain gauge in the world. Here, after about 200 years in Western world, Italian, Benedetto Antonio Castelli, he invented the laying gauge after 200 years, about 200 years, you see that. This graph showed the annual precipitation recorded in Seoul here. Since the 1780, you can see here annual precipitation fluctuate greatly, about 700 millimeter, 700 millimeter to 2050 millimeter, fluctuate very largely. So maybe so the drought, 1 year drought, second year flood. That's the Korean the land. This land used to be a really climate crisis here. You see here, you can see it's very low here. 30 years, 1876 to 1905, there was a 30 years severe drought. Because of a severe drought, the bad agricultural harvest there was a very bad agricultural harvest. So people are poor. So this 30 years severe drought is one of the cause of Joseon dynasty collapse. Before the Republic of Korea, there was a Joseon dynasty. It's one of the cause, the Joseon dynasty collapse. And the other one is, we have 1925, there is a worst flood. More than 70,000 houses destroyed. And the flood damage is about 58% of national annual budget. Very severe. So our ancestors, they built here severe flood, memorial stones here. It's in Seoul, very severe. So these, the severe drought, during severe drought and, the severe worst flood, but carbon dioxide concentration below, maybe 2080, very low. Carbon dioxide doesn't make any difference. We also have a little ice age record here. Little ice age. During 17th centuries, this Korean means here, 1 million people starved to death and ate human flesh. But at that time, the population size is 5 million people. About 20% of population is died because of during Little Ice Age here. Joseon Dynasty annals record everyday weather. They record, the everyday weather. But during summertime, during summer, there was a hail, frost, and snow. But we have a very good record of Little Ice Age. And last, last 20 centuries climate, let's see the 20th century climate change here. We have a pretty good record since 1910s. This one is Seoul heat wave, number of days of heat wave. Same as in United States. We have, the very high heat wave, number of days of heat wave is very high. During 1930s, the very high heat wave days here. And this one is cold spells decreasing. Cold spell is decreasing. Maybe this one is due to global warming or, the effect of, the urban island, the urbanization effect. Maybe better, but still, the weather become better, here. Typhoon decreasing. Typhoon is, number of typhoon is decreasing. Same as Japan here, we have the same record. We're using same record here. number of days heavy rain, little bit increasing. Yeah. I also show you very, the strange wildfire this year. This year, March 22nd to 23rd, 43 wildfire, occurs. But Korean news medias, they say it's climate change. Because of climate change, we have a lot of wildfire. But people believe that. But here, nobody knows why it happens. But one was, the one fire was caused Chinese student arsons. Chinese student, arson is one cause, but rest of them, we don't know. But people believe, the climate change set the fire. But one, the local idiot governor said it's good chance to put the solar power in the burned mountain. It's a very stupid one. Yeah. Finally, I show you my closing remark. I tell you my closing remark and my little proposal here. Elon Musk, he posted this night view of Korean Peninsula last year, January, the 2024 January. He said, let's divide the country in half capitalist and half communist and check on it's 70 years later. It's the result. He said it's a crazy idea. See? That's the North Korea and the South Korea. Yeah. It's a GDP per capita to 1911 to 2022. South Korea, it's increase like a skyrocket here. But North Korea is, flat, but recently decreased. They are excellent in nuclear bombs, but we are excellent in nuclear power generation. That's the difference you see here. But we are very lucky and very successful. But now, our country is in peril because of Chinese unrestricted warfare. To get the global hegemonic power, China is using hybrid warfare here. South Korea is one of the main targets. What they using these three. One is a climate change hoax. Second one is a Confucius Institute. In Korea, now 23 Confucius Institute. What they doing, they teach Chinese culture and make peoples pro-China. This Chinese Confucius Institute was funded by Chinese communist parties. And here, I think many countries, they expelled, Confucius Institute. But in Korea, we have still 23 Confucius Institute. Also, the China, they using election fraud. In Korea also, in several elections, many Korean people believe China did manipulate election, something. They also doing some other country too, Canada and some other country too. That's another, the hybrid warfare they're using. The real problem is climate change hoax. Climate change hoax is a pathway to socialism. You see, the Margaret Thatcher said the global warming provides a marvelous excuse for global socialism. You see the Marxism, there are Marxism under the hysteria, climate hysteria. See? You see the climate activists, they say only socialism can solve climate change. That's what they say. See the climate change activists like watermelon, green outside, red inside. That's a real problem here. This, the United Nations Secretary General, Antonio Guterres, he said now it's time to stop burning our planet and start investing in abundant renewable energy all around us. But he just say, he is a renewable energy salesman for China all around the world. See? He is a socialist. You can see that in his career here. He was a leader of a Portuguese Socialist Party and representative of Socialist International. Then he became, the Guterres here, the United Nations Secretary General here. The President Trump said climate change is a Chinese hoax. At first time, I didn't understand. But now, based on what's going on in South Korea, my thought is exactly the same as, what he said here. I think, we have to be very careful about it. But now, the South Korea is a battleground between the socialism and the capitalism. Yeah. So here China, he continues said, these guys say, and the capitalism save the planet, These guys, climate activists, this banner means this one here. The cause of a climate crisis is capitalism. The solution is socialism, They keep saying that. In Korea, we have a big problem. We have to, people should know there is no climate crisis here. See that? This one is a very interesting one too. This building is a U.S. embassy in Seoul here. These climate activists, they held a press conference on Trump administration withdrawal from Paris Climate Accord last year, November 7, just 2 days after President Trump elected. So what they say here, this one is, they say, U.S. is the real climate axis of evil. Retract the withdrawal. Just, the President Trump just elected after he didn't become a president, but just after 2 days after Trump elected, they held the press conference here. That's the serious problems here. Now what I propose here, we may need some kind of U.S., South Korea, and Japan climate energy alliance. Maybe we need. Japan has, Japan facing energy dilemma after Fukushima accident here. After Fukushima accident, they reduced nuclear energy here. Then what they did, they put all, the solar panel all over the place here. This one is a solar panel on Japan mountains here. You see here? You see this one is, the solar facility capacity per total land area. Number one is, this one is Source International Energy Agency. Number one is Netherlands. Second one is Japan. Japan put the solar panel all over the place. Third one is Germany, Korea, and Italy, UK, United Arab Emirates, and China here. So the China and the Korea, we have same, the energy problem and the climate, the fake climate crisis problem here. You see, the United States has a lot of fossil fuel. This one is gas, shale gas, number one shale gas here. You also had number one coal reservoir. And also, the crude oil production, number one crude oil production. Korea, has one of the largest nuclear producer, one of the top 5 nuclear reactors in Korea. And we need U.S. crude oil too. We need a lot of U.S. crude oil. So what I'm going to suggest, the South Korea and Japan should buy U.S. fossil fuel. No more Chinese solar panels and wind turbine. To do that, we must let them our people, knows there is no climate crisis. We have to tell. That's why we need, some kind of three countries climate energy alliance. We need. The first one, we have to destroy the early 100 propaganda here. You see the fake climate crisis. Just that they want to stop fossil fuel and use renewables, and then people's losing money. So you say, where is my money? Yeah. Continue to lose the money here. We have to stop this vicious cycle here. Or to do that, first we have to stop the early 100 campaign. Early 100 campaign is a private organization campaign to save the planet. It started the 2014 United the Kingdoms Climate Group and the CDP. They doing nothing, just it's a kind of a greenwashing. They want to use the company. If you join the company, join the RE100, they have to pay. They have to use expensive energy, make them use an expensive energy. But right now, the RE100 participating company keep increasing. This one is United States, 98 company participate, and Japan 86, UK is 47, Korea is 36, Taiwan is 32, Germany 18, and Australia 17. This company, the number of organizations participate in RE100 keep increasing. Now total about 400 companies. But these RE100 actually destroying the planet, not saving the planet. So what I'm proposing, the RE100 tariffs. The President Trump likes, the tariffs. So what I'm suggesting, the high tariff to RE100 participating companies' product, low tariff non-RE100 company product, because they are using Chinese solar panel and wind turbine. I think we have to let them use. We let them use U.S. fossil fuel. Finally, I'll tell you my dreams. I have a dream to be with you, here. 2006, I visit Pyongyang, North Korea. This photo was taken in Pyongyang. I look around the Pyongyang and the surrounding areas. There is people are very poor. All society is like controlled armies, and there is no liberties. Here. See, the Margaret Thatcher said, "Capitalism create wealth, socialism create property." The Korean Peninsula, North Korea and South Korea, prove what the Margaret Thatcher is saying. She is absolutely right. But these, the China, North Korea, and Russia, you can see little border in the North Korea, with Russia. These three countries want to keep, they want to make South Korea become a socialist, the countries. What they using here, the climate change hoax. They want to stop the capitalism. They want us choose, the socialism. To stop this, the climate hoax, change hoax, we have to, tell the peoples, we have the people believe, there is no climate crisis. But here in United States, you have this, the highway billboard here. There is no climate crisis. So we may need giant statue, bigger than this one, So what I'm suggest, here, in United States, you have a Statue of Liberty between, the United States and France, across the, the Atlantic Oceans here. What I suggest here, we maybe, built here the east coast of Korean Peninsula. This area is just the beginning area of Asian continent. So we may build this one, the Statue of Liberty here. Right now, maybe more than 100 Statue of Liberty was in, all over the world. In Japan, even in Japan, this one is Tokyo. Japan has, Statue of Liberty. They just built this Statue of Liberty for the friendship between Japan and France and for tourism. But what I'm suggesting, here, the purpose of Statue of Liberty will let all Asian, including Korean, and know the importance of liberty, and there is no climate crisis. I want to make a global symbol of there is no climate crisis. That's what my dream. That's all my talk. I thank you for your attention.
One thing that jumped out at me is you mentioned this climate crisis clock, that it's going to, I guess, count down to zero in 2029, and that's when the catastrophe hits. That's the idea. But
that's why, the last year, in Korean National Assembly building, in the National Assembly building, the climate crisis clock was installed. They follow the, IPCC, AR6 report said that. That's why they said we have just 5 years left. Now we have 4 years left. It's a National Assembly building. People's, even politicians, they don't know. They don't the science. Yeah.
But they don't realize, I mean, it's gonna go down to zero and nothing's going to happen. They're not seeing that that's going to be a huge embarrassment. This huge clock going down to zero, nothing happens.
Nothing happened. The number of typhoon is decreased.
Interesting. Yeah, I really enjoyed your content here. I enjoyed seeing your view about like the 30s and 40s. We're told that the Dust Bowl here happened because of plowing or something, but then you had that same, you had heat waves back there. It sounds like it was kind of a global thing, that it was very hot in the 30s and 40s.
Also, the Little Ice Age, we have the same thing, right?
Yeah, that Little Ice Age stuff where 20% of the people in South Korea starved, you said, if I had that correct. Yeah. Amazing. So the whole idea we want to go back to the Little Ice Age, I think we don't.
Yeah. We have to tell the, Michael Mann, even in Korea, there is a Little Ice Age. Michael Mann, the hockey stick erased the whole, Little Ice Age.
So how much success are you having in bringing climate realism to South Korea? Are you kind of alone still, or are more people in South Korea waking up to the climate crisis being false?
Now, the many young people, they trust, they believe me. But still, many people, that they, even the meteorologist, climate scientist, they keep silent because they want to get the more research fund. They like money, see. They teach, the fake science to their student.
Right. And
I used to do that.
And again, you said that around when the Trump's first administration, that's when you first became suspicious. When you heard Trump say it's a hoax, was that one of the first times you had heard that there was another point of view, that it might be a hoax?
Some people saying, but yeah. Well, I am the only, the first climate change denier. Not many people, some people say interesting, but that's it.
Okay. I wanted to ask about, I think Climate the movie was shown over there.
Oh, yeah.
Climate the movie, and Martin Durkin was just interviewed over there. Is that right?
Yeah.
Can you expand more on this killer button or a kill button in solar inverters from China? There's some sort of secret way that they can cause problems in other countries remotely by shutting down, by using this killer button. Is that correct?
Not happened yet.
Okay.
But we just worry about that. Yeah.
I'm curious, in unrelated, how about the take-up of COVID shots in South Korea? Do most people, did they believe the narrative that they had to take the COVID injection so that they just kept taking these shots, these mRNA shots about COVID? Is that still popular in South Korea?
Yeah, you mean the COVID vaccine?
Yes, yeah.
COVID vaccine. But some peoples, they worry about vaccine, COVID vaccine, but I don't know that very well.
Okay. One other thing is, I met you in person at Doctors for Disaster Preparedness a year ago. You came over to the U.S. for this conference in the U.S., and you've been there this year too, the DDP conference. Did you want to talk about that?
Yeah. I attended last, the Arizona, Tucson. The next year where the conference will be held, DDP?
I have not heard. I haven't heard the date. Normally it's the first week of July, but I have not heard yet. Yeah.
Maybe we can meet there.
I hadn't heard about this whole issue with bird droppings on the solar panels. It's the first time I heard about that. But what do you think that does to the ecosystem? Or you can just put them up over a rice paddy and it doesn't affect what's supposed to be happening on the rice paddy? Like, you can't grow rice under a solar panel, can you?
Yeah. Solar panels.
Yeah.
I don't know, but they just wasting money,
Yeah.
Just wasting money. Nothing, and also our weather is not good for the wind turbine and not good for the solar panels.
Yeah, you mentioned 17% efficiency on the wind turbines.
Yeah.
Is that because of just
17%.
low wind, or the wind isn't at the right speed, I guess? Would that be the reason?
Because, the wind turbine is need some kind of range of wind power. A strong wind it should be stopped. And very slow, the silent, very slow wind, you can turn the wind turbine. That's why, it's just 17%. I just got some people from them,
Okay, very good. All right, I think that's it for now, but thank you very much, and we'll have to do this again. Thank you for all your good work.
Thank you very much.